Welcome into today's podcast right here at the Cog Hill 40. Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the canned ham for this episode, so here's Jason and Brooke. Johnny Carson didn't have nothing on these folks.
What is going on, Cog Squad? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast coming at you from the Cog Hill 40 inside our studio, which is the canned ham. And it feels like a canned ham.
Well, I was just
Getting a little crowded.
thinking that I could see once our house is completed and we have everything squared away, parking this camper right in front of the house so we can continue on with our little office setting.
It's not that bad of an idea.
We could park it in the garage and then...
Oh, man, I don't know what we're going to say once we get out of the canned ham. I don't know what our intro is going to be.
I know, that's what I was just thinking. That's what made me think of that.
That's funny. Then did you say it?
That's a long time away.
That is a long time away.
No worries.
No worries there. Ain't that the truth?
We'll be here for a bit.
We'll be here for a while.
For a bit.
For a bit. For a bit.
Lots of things happening.
Yeah,
as always.
We went basically from, doing our stuff that needs to be done here on the farm, kind of like we have been, to electricians been here. Gate guy was supposed to be here this week, but that got pushed to next week. The gentleman that was going to start on a house was supposed to be here today, but that got pushed back to next week.
Greg was supposed to be.
Greg's supposed to be here this week. That got pushed back to next week.
You know what this means?
So next week's going to be wide open. It's going to be crazy.
I don't know if we ought to...
I got to drink some water to that.
I don't know if we ought to book a vacation to Tahiti
next week
for the week, or if we ought to be here to see what all's happening. I can't really decide if it's going to be I don't know. I'm excited, of course, for the house to get started. I'm excited for the pond work, but I kind of am feeling like it's going to be a lot happening at one time. We can't do anything about it, though, so...
Maybe we'll tell Greg we want him to be the supervisor.
Okay, that'd be good. While we go to Tahiti. Hey, he might have to babysit, too. You reckon he'd want... I didn't say anything about Marycarl going to Tahiti. He could homeschool Marycarl.
He's got those grand youngins.
Yeah.
They would have a good time.
And they're twin girls, so,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like 3 or 4. So.
That's right.
Surely he can handle all that.
Sure he can.
And he's got to keep Mama straight, too.
his daughter.
And feed all the animals, of course.
Yeah. Oh, keep your mama straight.
Yeah, my mama.
Yeah. Got to keep your mama straight and feed all the animals. Yeah.
He's got a big job ahead of him. We're not going to Tahiti. We're staying right here. But we are going to Oklahoma in March. And, that was a question that I saw come up on the last podcast. People wanted to know, why are we mentioning this meet and greet in April?
Yeah.
Are we no longer going to Oklahoma in March?
We are going to Oklahoma in March.
I responded by saying we just found out about the meet and greet in April.
Yes.
We've known about the meet and greet in Oklahoma. So that was just kind of understood that we are going to Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And then the April event at Petals from the Past will be our next
That's
thing.
Right. That's right. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually didn't even... This is crazy, but I was thinking that the Petals was before the Oklahoma. That's how crazy. I date. I can't do dates.
Well,
for some reason, dates don't register with me.
This is not dates as in numbers. This is dates as in months.
I know. March, April.
Duh. So
I feel like the Petals thing's like coming up next week for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, you and I didn't discuss me reading those questions, wanting to know if we were still going to Oklahoma. But
we are.
I just thought about it when we were talking about going to Tahiti. I thought, well, Oklahoma's obviously a little closer to Tahiti than we are, so we'll be going on a little trip.
That's right.
In March. Who knows what'll be going on by then?
Yeah,
I guarantee you one thing.
What's that?
We'll have a gate up.
Yeah, we probably have a gate up.
I can't tell you anything about the rest of it. About the house, about the pond. I don't know. But I can just about guarantee we'll have a gate.
We'll have a gate up. We're going to have a gate up.
That's okay. I'll be happy no matter what. I mean, no matter where we are, you still, life goes on.
That's right.
Nothing you can do about it, so just grin and bear it. I'll be happy with the progress. As long as something is done. You got silent there for a minute.
Yeah, I was thinking about everything that's going on. We did the Pigeon Palace.
Mm-hmm. Purple Pigeon Palace, Jason.
We've made some progress with it. Not no major progress, but we got the header boards put on. Yeah,
and I should tell about the mistake that I made about the distance for the material I found on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, yeah, because we even mentioned that in the podcast.
I did, and I was talking about how it was a wonderful find. And you know what? We might still do that.
Yeah.
So
we might.
I don't know what day it was, but Jason had edited a video. So I told Marycarl, I said, if we finish with our schooling time, we might run over and pick up that, what do you call it?
It's clear corrugated
plastic
that you can use for roofing or greenhouses. And you had found some on Facebook Marketplace from a company at a very, very reasonable price. It was really, really, really good deal. Really good deal.
I mean, it was $10 a sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And this stuff in a quarter of the thickness is $30 a sheet all day long.
That's right.
At big box stores. So I Googled where this place was located, and it said, oh, goodness, I don't know what it was.
Danville, wasn't it?
Danville.
Danville.
It was like 77 miles, I think is what it said.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was around Birmingham.
About an hour and a half away, basically.
It was kind of in the Fairfield area of Birmingham. I said, well, we can run over there and pick that up.
Yep.
So that was just me finding it and doing a quick search. Danville, Alabama. It said that many miles. When I actually got going down the road, I knew how to go north. I knew how to get to, Birmingham. So I just started on my way. I knew Marycarl and I were going to stop for lunch. So when we stopped, I put in my GPS the actual address of where the stuff was located. And it said, oh my goodness, like 2.5 hours.
From where you were.
From where I was, and I had already headed north, and I thought to myself, that's not right.
You'd already drove almost an hour.
Well, no.
Not quite an hour, but 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 or 40 minutes in. I said, that's not right. And Marycarl was, she was like, Mama, just start going back the way you were going. I said, no, baby, we got to put the address in. We got to, we might not stop again, so we need to know where we're going. I put it in again, and it still came up that far away. And so then I went back and I Googled Danville or wherever it was. And when I did that, it said the same thing. It said I was like 35 miles away, 41 miles away. I thought to myself, how can one thing tell me I'm 41 miles away and another one tell me I'm 160 miles away? So I realized that there's obviously a Danville with a zip code and a Danville without a zip code.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like a Danville street or something that's picking up.
Here's the deal. Okay. And I learned this from Piper the other day. When an 11-year-old teaches you something, you better listen. So she said, Miss Brooke, there's 2 Sardis, Alabamas? And I was like, I think I've heard of Sardis, Alabama, other than what I know of Sardis, Alabama. Right. She said, yeah, there's 2 Sardis, Alabamas. One of them has a zip code, and that's the one where I live. And then there's another one that doesn't have a zip code, and I don't live there. So I always tell people I live in the Sardis with a zip code. That's what I think happened.
You think that's what happened?
I think I put in the name of the city, and that's what came up, because there could be 2 Danvilles.
Yeah.
But there could be a zip code one and a non-zip code one. And I just didn't go far enough with my search because I didn't know the address initially. I just knew the name of the city.
Yeah. So you didn't get the stuff.
I didn't get the stuff.
We're going to drive that far for it. That would be a haul. It would have been 3 hours. That would have been 6 hours of driving for, what was it, 8 pieces you wanted or something?
Yeah.
So it would have been $80.
It was 9 pieces.
$90?
$90, but it would have been better than $270.
True too.
But I just decided that we would wait because we were heading on up into lunchtime by this point. We had finished with our school, And if I had went on, it would have been well into dark by the time I got home. And we weren't prepared to do all that in a day. And I told Marycarl, she wasn't disappointed. She was just like, okay. I said, we're just going to have a little fun day because Mama made a mistake. And it was a pretty big one. But, things happen. I was kicking myself for it. And Marycarl's usually pretty quick to say, Mama, just forget about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just
forget about it.
Don't beat yourself up about it. So I said, well, it's her pigeon aviary, and I'm the one that's upset. So that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, because she's the one that's really been pushing us on.
Yeah, she's like, how much longer? When is it going to be finished?
Can we go get some more wood?
Yeah. When can we go get some more supply?
Right.
When do you think I can move some plants in? That's our biggest thing now is plants. Plants for the aviary.
When can I get the plants in there?
So, we kind of were thinking that we were going to put that roof on, the clear plastic roofing.
We were going to put that on. Then we changed our mind back to netting, then back to the roof again. Then it was hardware cloth. Then it was back to the roof again. And then we found out we put the roof on there anyways. We still got to put hardware cloth on it first because a predator could get in.
Well, see, I was thinking that we'd put that roof on and then we could put the hardware cloth everywhere else. Well, Robert at Daybird Aviary said he would put hardware cloth and the roofing on top of it.
And I saw that on...
That made me not have to have a hasty...
Some websites.
Pickup of that corrugated roof. We can wait.
That's right.
And it may be that we go to visit Caroline or something in the near future and we can pick it up then because it's up around Decatur, Alabama is where it is.
Yeah.
And that's where Caroline lives.
And that's near Huntsville. Right,
Yeah,
Huntsville,
yeah, it's about 30
Shoals
miles
area.
from Huntsville.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So, and I drove the truck. With anticipation of, picking up the materials, and I thought to myself, I'm going back with nothing in the truck, and that just doesn't happen very often. Usually when we drive the truck, we're going to pick something up.
I
felt like I needed to buy something, but I didn't.
Yeah, if you see us in that truck, you're going to know.
Are we going to get lumber?
We're going to get something.
But I didn't have anything on my list but
trees.
that. And so we just grabbed some lunch and messed around. And you were editing that day, so.
I was editing. I got behind.
Well, you talked to Daniel Arms on the phone.
Yeah. That was, I talked to Daniel.
That's pretty routine for you. But when y'all get to talking, it ends up being not just a 10-minute conversation, but a 10-day conversation.
It does.
If I say, who is that? And he mouths Daniel, then I just go on to New York and do my business and know that they'll be finished chatting when I get back.
Yeah, we
Not
do.
Really, I don't go to New York.
We do tend to talk for a long time when we do get to talking.
But you have a lot in common.
We do have a ton in common.
I think if we live near Dutch or Daniel or Lester, for that matter, you might not ever see your family. You might be with the guys all the time.
Oh, I'm pretty sure all of us will be hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Daniel and Lester, we got a lot in common. It's
you're on the same wavelength.
We are that. We raise animals. We have pet animals. We're on a farm. We
You're
grow
creators.
food. And that was the other thing. We're both creators, content creators. And so I don't have that many people I can talk to.
Are your grown up with friends.
Right, around here or anything like that that's a content creator that knows, what we're, just our life as a content creator, the good, the bad, funny stuff we like to talk about that nobody else would relate to.
You know what I commend all of those guys for?
What's that?
Telling each other what works for y'all. If something works for you,
we do.
Then you share that idea with Daniel, Lester, Dutch, whoever else that, maybe you talk to, but y'all share it with each other to try to make a better program, I guess, for lack of another way to say it.
We're all friends, and it's not like that. It's a little pie, and you want it all for yourself.
No, that was my point.
It's a big old giant pie, and we all try to help each other to get a piece and a bite of that big old
Nobody in that
pie,
nobody in that clique,
yeah.
y'all's clique, is selfish in any way, form,
No,
or
not
fashion.
at all. And we all get along. We're all friends, and we all pick on each other, and especially this week, I know that most of y'all, because I think all our fans, for the most part, I know some of us have fans that that don't mingle over to the other channels, but for the most part, I think they do, because we can see it in the analytics. So there's a lot of stuff we can see on the backside, and we can see actually what other channels our fans are watching, and it's always the same, and I'm sure it's the same for those guys that it is me. But yeah, I'm sure you guys saw this week with Lester, in I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, kind of, how did he put it? Just pretty much inviting me and Daniel to mimic him or imitate him. And then he was going to roll with the punches and then come back and imitate us. And then me, I have to think about it and all that. But Daniel and Lester don't. I mean, it's like, boom.
Whatever comes out's what comes out.
And how in the world Lester gets... he must live somewhere where he's got access to that kind of stuff. Here, I have to order stuff. But Lester already had a cop uniform. I mean, how did he do that fast? I mean, but, Daniel... what's funny is I started getting tagged in these videos, or a video Lester had put out. Daniel didn't know it yet. So we got a group text, just me and Lester and Daniel. And I put on there and I tagged Daniel and I said, so are you going to make a challenge? Are you going to accept Lester's challenge and make a video? And he didn't know what, and I told him to get his Crocs ready. And he didn't know what I was talking about. And then I told him, I said, well, go watch Lester's live video around the 35-minute mark, and you'll see. And y'all, it was like an hour later, Daniel already had his video made, and he already started sending me clips of it, and I was rolling. Before he put it out, I was rolling laughing so hard. You saw I was crying laughing because he did it so fast. It was like one take he was doing that.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
Friends, Nick and Zoe at Chestnut Hills, Nick sent me a text this week, and he said, I just saw Daniel's video where he's imitating Lester. He said, Jason's got to do it. It's hilarious. Well, I didn't know that Daniel had put it out, but I had previously seen what Daniel had done before it was live. He had sent it to you.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a, we needed to be quiet about it because it was kind of like a win it before you could buy it thing. We saw it before it was ever published. And
we did.
So my answer was, yes, Jason has something up his sleeve, and it's just going to take a minute to get it together.
I don't have anywhere where I can go buy a cop uniform. I don't know how Lester did that.
Well, you're not going to imitate Daniel.
I'm not going to take Daniel. I'm not. I mean, but Lester had he had the camouflage on, the camouflage jacket, the sweatshirt, and the cop I was fast. That was so fast of them doing it. But yeah, we're going to have fun. We all have fun together, and we're all friends. And we do help each other out. Chad at Adler Farm, me and him talking. I think we all help each other out. I think Chad's helping with Dutch right now a good bit on Facebook, helping him with his Facebook stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are things that you do better than they do, and things that they do better than you do. And y'all all know your weaknesses and your strengths. And when you work together, it makes everybody better. It
does. And plus, even though we're the same, we're kind of the same. All three of our channels are totally different from each other. They really are. And I think that's why we get along so well. And I think that's why the audience kind of cross over, because you get three different takes. They're all different. In I guess on the mellow aspect, you got Daniel, who's the mellowest. Then you got me, who's the next level up, and then Lester.
What are you saying about Lester?
Lester's got the most energy.
I know.
then it's probably me, and then it's Daniel. But yeah, it's fun. It really is. We all get along very much so. So it's fun.
That's where I didn't intend on bringing that up, but that's where we went with that conversation.
That's
so
all right. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I'm glad I did too. So you do intend on making fun of Lester?
Yeah, I do. And I'm
You do.
sure he's already got planned on what he's going to do for me.
He's probably already got it made.
He probably does already have it made.
And I don't know.
I was trying to think, how would I make fun of myself? I don't know of something.
Well, you can talk with your hands.
I do talk with my hands. And I'm assuming dancing. I guess that would be probably the main thing.
That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. And the way we talk to the animals, I think that's pretty funny too.
And maybe our accent.
I tell y'all, yeah, probably my accent too. And how I can't say words the right way and all that kind of good stuff. I had somebody. I got tickled. And like, again, y'all know it's hard to tell if somebody's being funny, if they're being cute, if they're being facetious, or if they're being,
ugly
in a comment. But I saw where somebody commented that, because we said, Nugget, you need a toboggan.
Uh-huh.
Do they make toboggans for emus or something like that in the comment? And somebody responded back is that toboggans is a sled, and I don't think emus need a sled. And again, I don't know if it was funny, if they were being funny or whatever. I don't know. But I did respond back that the word toboggan, just in case they didn't know, the word toboggan in Alabama and across the South, pretty much means hat, means the hat. And I meant to Google that and see how that came about, but there's some reason, because we don't have sleds down here.
No.
We don't have sleds. Now, we may have knee boards and skis.
I was fixing to say, we got knee
water
boards.
skis, yeah. We don't have sleds. So,
I hope it, well, I don't want to say that. I was going to say, I hope it doesn't snow real hard, because we don't have any sleds, but.
You do got one. Nana bought Marycarl
That's
one.
right.
I don't know where it is.
Oh, my goodness.
It's in one of the pods.
If it does snow hard, we're going to have to take everything out of those pods, because it's in there somewhere. Somewhere.
We've talked about the weathermen before, but I saw the headlines about they trying to get all of us down here excited about a big snowstorm, but I don't think it's going to snow. You talking about
this weekend?
I don't think it's going to snow.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
I may be wrong.
got a lot of clothes that need to be washed right now, because I just haven't taken them to Mama's to wash in a few days.
Right.
2 things in my clothes that have to be washed are 2 pair of thermal underwear.
Mm-hmm.
1 pair for one day and 1 pair for another day. And I need it cleaned ASAP.
For Sunday.
For Sunday, because the high is 42 if it hasn't changed.
That's cold for us.
Cold. That is beyond cold. That's like, I'm not going outside. I told you today, I said, I think Sunday we could clean out the barn some more and get it, it's 43, a little more organized. And I think your thoughts were, I ain't going in that barn if it's 43 degrees.
Yeah, it's going to be.
That's cold.
It's cold for us.
That's really cold.
Yep.
So I don't know what we'll do Sunday, but
and
if you know us, we're not going to be sitting around drinking coffee and roasting marshmallows.
No. And the weather, the headlines are trying to tease us that we're going to get some snow. I think north of us is going to get lots of snow, but central Alabama, we ain't going to get no snow.
What about Tahiti?
Tahiti ain't going to get no snow either.
You don't think?
No, I doubt it.
Well,
I doubt it.
So we did get a lot accomplished this week.
Oh man, we have been busy. And I guess y'all have seen too our videos that we've been pretty busy. I tell you, I don't know why we ain't do it sooner, but that weaning station, as I call it, or the weaning corral, or the weaning stall, or the goat stall, whatever y'all want to call it, that thing has been a blessing. That's one of those things that was 8 T-posts and 2 cattle panels, and you're like, why in the world did we not do this 3 months ago?
Well, when we first got Mildred, there were times when Bootsy would come to try to get the bottle, because Bootsy was a bottle baby, and Mildred was scared, and there was no way for me to feed her without Bootsy being present.
Right.
And it wasn't just Bootsy, it was everybody, but Bootsy was the leader of the pack. And so you had the ingenious idea to take your little T-post and set them up and put those cattle panels in front of it so we could enclose an area.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is to where we can feed Mildred some grain along with her bottle. And I think a lot of people think that we are quitting the bottle.
Yeah, I think so too. No, we're not quitting the bottle. We're just trying to get her accustomed to eating grain. Because at some point, a few months down the road, that we're going to start weaning her off
The bottle.
But it's going to be gradual. It won't
And
like we're just going to pull the bottle away
I
from
guess
her.
we should have explained that a
I
little
guess
better.
so.
But when you think something to yourself and when you understand it in your mind, it's hard to realize that somebody else might not be thinking the same thing you are.
You're right, and I've tried to get way better with that. Even like the chicken feed video. How I went in depth about chicken feed, because you always assume people know so
Right.
much. Like the one where a few chickens were roosting on the nesting box.
Right. That was another one.
I should have explained that one. That was an eye opener for me.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, I've tried to explain as
But
much as possible.
It's so hard to realize what somebody might have a question about, because in our
It is.
mind it's already set, and you know what your purpose is. You know you're
Yeah.
not taking her off the bottle.
Right.
But when you explain it as a weaning station, well, you as viewers automatically think, well, they're fixing to quit her bottle,
Yeah.
because they're trying to wean her.
That's
well,
right.
we just have to do this in slow progress versus it's not going to happen overnight. So we've got to have
No.
a starting point.
That's right.
And y'all saw in the video that I was so thrilled that she took some of that grain from my hand, because I didn't think she would. And there were also a lot of people that said, instead of using the dry milk powder, to
right.
use the wet milk from her bottle and pour it on the grain, and it would make it more palatable for her, and also possibility to prevent scours, which is diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
But I had two people that were cattle experts tell me to just sprinkle a little bit of the dry powder on top.
Just to get the flavor.
Just to get the scent,
Yeah.
really. Just a little bit, which is what I had been doing. So after reading that people suggested doing the wet milk, I did it tonight. Of course, we didn't video it because,
It was
this is the
dark,
day
too,
after.
Right at dark.
And so I sat down on the milking stand, which is awesome for a seat. I'm so glad you thought to put that in there. And I'm sitting down feeding her now. And so when I got finished with her bottle, I had already made a little slurry out of her pellets. And I started giving it to her by the hand, put my hand down. And she was eating way more of it tonight than she did yesterday.
Which is
And
good.
this was after her bottle.
Which is
so
good.
this was not taking any bottle away. This
Right.
was in addition to.
In addition to.
And I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Now, I got to get in my head how much I should fix, because I way overdid it. If she had eaten all this, she'd have been like Marycarl says at dinner time, Mama, do you want us to be fat?
Yeah.
She says, you just keep pushing us to eat more and more.
Let me fix you some more. You need some more? Want some more bread? Want some more?
And I do, but that's just a mother in me to make
Yeah,
sure that
I think you're right.
everybody's, full. But she tells me Mildred tells me when she's had enough. She just refuses it.
Yeah.
And she walks away. And I've got to get better at the quantity that I fix.
It's okay, though.
Oh, it's okay. If I have to throw it out, then I throw it out. But I'm just thrilled to know that she doesn't turn her nose up at it.
I'm glad she don't turn it. Yeah, that's a big deal. And I'm going to tell you something. So when I make videos, I save like a lot of my clips that I can, and I got them in a library in case I need to use it again. It's kind of easy for me to find. And I got like a cow library and a goat library and chicken library, and I'll have sub folders in that, and it's just easy for me when I edit. So if I need a clip of Mildred or the cow, I can go there and find it. And so I needed one in the last video, and I went and found a clip and looked through the other clips. She's twice the size she was when we first got her.
She's a big girl. And I changed her halter today.
Yes.
This morning, when I went to bottle feed her this morning, I showed y'all in one video, I guess you posted that part, that you could get, a couple of fingers under the pink
Yes.
one. But it was getting a little bit snug. And so I had a backup. I'd already ordered one size up. So I just thought this morning, I said, well, since she's in this corral, I'll take the pink one off and try if I can get the purple one on her, great. If I can't, then I'll try again another time.
Yeah.
Took the pink one off, and I actually just unbuckled it and slipped it over the bottle. So I thought, well, this will be easy. So I put the purple one, the nose of it, around the bottle, and I just slid it back on her.
It went on easy.
Over the bottle.
Good.
And so I was able to get it on her, and it's on the tightest, what do you call it?
Buckle, hole, whatever. Yeah.
But that just means that she has room to grow,
Lots
which is
of room to
great
grow.
because the pink one was on the last one, and, I knew that it was kind of heavy on my mind knowing it was going to need to be changed,
Yeah.
but I didn't exactly know,
Right.
How I was going to get it done without Piper.
And I saw there was a lot of comments that people won't know why are we putting this halter on her.
Yeah, they were saying it wasn't fair. Why doesn't Moody have a halter on, but Mildred does?
Well, why does Mildred even have one on? Why do we want one on Mildred?
Right.
And it's crazy because when we didn't have one on Mildred, we were getting comments about
Yes, exactly.
we need to put one on Mildred, and then we get one on Mildred, and then the comments are, why do y'all have this halter on me?
I think people look at it as it must be uncomfortable to her.
No, she don't bother at all. She don't even act like she knows it's on.
No.
But that's what we wanted, because if we do, as she gets older, it eventually will come off, but she'll be used to that halter. So if we need to lead her around, if we need to tie her up, or any of those things, she will be used to it because we have started at an early age. Now, Moody, on the other hand,
He's never had one
we know
on.
Moody's at least 2 years old. Moody's, as far as we know, has never had one on. Now, we worked with him. I had a lot of y'all been asking for the last week, 2 weeks, how come Moody doesn't have his halter on? And so we put it on in the last video, and it went on pretty easy. Now, once we got it on, he kind of shook his head a little bit because that's the first time he's ever had a halter on.
Right.
And so, but after a few minutes with him with it on, he stopped.
He stopped.
He stopped, and he was cool, calm, and collected, and he was fine. And then, the video was kind of, I edited it where it was kind of short, but he had it probably on for a good 10, 15 minutes. And then we took it off, and then, we'll put it back on him again. And we just, same thing with him. We want him to get comfortable with it. So if we do have to lead him, we can.
That's right.
If we do have to tie him up, we can. So that's why we're doing it.
And somebody commented, how come not a big collar? How come you have to have the halter? How come not a big collar? Well, they're led easily by their head. And if you
Yeah.
have something on their neck, then they can pull.
Right.
And you don't want that. What do you call it? Not,
Just
What am I
it's kind
trying
of
to
like
say?
a horse. If you have control of the head, typically you have the control of the animal. So if you need him to turn right, you can just you just be gentle and you just gently turn his head right. If you're trying to lead one, then his head's going to turn, then his body's going to turn right. And if you need him to turn left, if you gently pull them to the left,
But if
then
you
their
had-
head's going to go left, and then their body's going to go left. And if you had it on their neck,
Right.
their head would be straight, and you would be pulling and tugging. And
you can't
and-
possibly pull a 2,000-pound
No,
steer.
No. And so that's why halters are made. And same with horses. This is the exact same thing with horses. And I think I've even seen them on sheep. I'm sure they're probably
Yeah,
on goats too, but I swear I've seen them on sheep before.
Yeah, they make the sheep. They make a sheep halter. They actually sell them at Tractor Supply, so it must be a pretty common thing.
Must be.
They make goat halters. However, we don't lead our
I've
goats
never
around.
seen a goat in a halter. Never. But I have seen sheep in halters.
Yeah, and when we do lead our goats from one pasture to another, it is hard for us to control them.
Yeah, but usually they're just
But
wide
we
open.
can pick our goats up.
All of them but Joe, we can pick them up.
We can't pick Joe up, but
Can't
we can
pick Joe
pick
up.
the rest of them
Rest
up.
of them we can pick up.
We will never be able to pick Mildred up
Or Moody.
or Moody, and therefore they need to be able to be led
Yeah.
to where we want them to go.
Yeah.
When we do intend on building the new pasture, and once we go to locate them from where they are now to the new pasture, they need to be able to be led around,
Yeah.
not just let out the fence
That's
and
right.
say, go to that pasture, because
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
That's right. That's right.
So
Yeah.
that's our plan with the
With the halters.
the purple looks good on her too.
It does look good on her.
She looks like she's a little Hawaiian girl now. It's got some little, I don't know what the flowers are that are on it, but it looks like a little little Hawaiian pattern.
Like she's gonna start doing a little belly dancing.
Well, she's attempting, I tell you. She gets a little giddy and starts hopping around out there a little bit.
She does, and I need to get. I think I do have one on camera, but it was kind of far off. But y'all ought to see her give the goats their business back.
Yes.
Them goats, because they're goats. The goats are way older than she is, and they kind of try to push her around or boss her around.
It's not to any extent, though. It's just kind of a.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. They're playing. They're playing, and so Mildred's got now where she gives it back.
Yeah,
and
she
it's
does.
funny. It's funny. They're playing. Yeah, it is. It is pretty funny.
I feel like she has one goat that she likes more so than the rest of them.
Yeah, I think so too.
And who do you
Fifi?
think? Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like she and Fifi, for whatever reason, they're the same color, but they have formed a little bond.
Yeah, her and Fifi do play a lot.
Now, I don't think it's to the extent to where if they're separated, it'll bother either one of them.
No,
it's not
I don't
like
think
that.
so either. And you can, I mean to interrupt you, but also talking about the bond, you can see her and Moody.
Oh,
Even there's a pasture between them. They stand at the fence and they will kind of moo at each other.
And I also think that we will be able to lead Mildred before we'll be able to lead Moody.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
I may be wrong about that, but that's my expectations.
Yeah.
It's that we will pretty soon probably put a rope on Mildred and allow her to walk on the outside of the fence. And that we may attempt to walk her down to let her see Moody a little closer and just see how they interact between fences.
That's right.
Right now, she's too little. She's too little to be with him.
I can pick her up. I can pick her up and put her where I want to. Moody
she's
weighs,
the size of our goats.
Yeah, she's very much the size of our goats. And Moody, the farrier said Moody weighed about 1,200 pounds. So
he
Moody,
weighs more than that, I think.
Yeah, well, he's put on some weight.
He's a big boy.
He's gotten healthy since he's came over here, and so he's around 1,100 pounds.
And Mildred weighs less than I do, so you can see Moody stepping on me. He would do some damage.
Yeah.
So if he stepped on her on accident, he would really do some damage.
And Moody's a big old baby, so he would never do anything.
Oh, I think he would just mourn himself if he ever thought he heard anything.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of ideal I get about him.
Yeah.
He's just a big, oversized baby.
But he's so big that, just one motion that he could do could hurt us or little Mildred. So
that's right.
That's why we don't have them together yet. We're going to wait till she gets bigger. When that will be,
I don't have a
we
date.
have
or
no idea.
We don't have a poundage.
No.
We just feel like we'll know when it's ready.
I
when
agree.
They're ready.
We're just going to go with our instinct on that. And then probably ask some cattle people too when we get closer to, what do y'all think? But I think she'll be fine because she was in a pasture with bigger cows anyways. But,
she was, but Moody wasn't. So
yeah, Moody wasn't.
We don't know if Moody will know how to act. A goat can handle their own, but if she doesn't,
Yeah.
He's not going to try to fight her. I don't mean that at all.
But they do play.
A little roughhousing.
They do play, especially Joe.
If I was Moody, I would send Joe to the moon.
I'm thinking goats are like dogs. You know how a little Chihuahua will try to or think it's a Rottweiler and not back down because they say that dogs don't know their size. And I'm thinking Joe is the same way. I'm thinking Joe has no idea that he is 1,100 pounds smaller than Moody. Because he just thinks he can push. What happens is we feed them at the same time. Well, Joe thinks everybody else has got way better feed than he does.
The grass is greener on the other side.
Does not every day, y'all. So we'll feed, and I even tried this. Somebody even told me to add an extra bucket. And so if you got 2 goats, you need 3 buckets, and then they will go musical chairs with 3 buckets, and it'll solve a lot of problems. I tried. It don't make no difference. Whoever's eating that one Joe wants. He does it with Moody. He'll push Topper out of the way and see what Topper's eating. Then he'll go down there and try to push Moody out of the way, which
I've seen Moody take his head and do like that.
It doesn't last long.
But Moody's not doing it with force.
Oh, no, not at all.
He's just
nudging him out of the way.
He's just like, go on, man. This is my food.
But Joe will stand up on his hind legs, and come down. But I've never seen Joe make contact with Moody.
But I'm telling you, if I was Moody, I would have sent Joe to the moon by now. Because he just aggravates him. He's just picking.
Does.
He's just steadily picking.
He does. Yeah, he picks.
Now, I've seen them going at it with their heads before.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
just kind of pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll push around.
Moody is he's such a gentle giant.
He is such a gentle giant.
All he does is puts his head down and lets Joe go at him as hard as he can. And it's like, okay, I'm playing with you.
I wonder if Moody knows he's way bigger than Joe. He's got to.
How do you think that?
Because he could send him to the moon.
Well, he wouldn't even have to sling his head. He could just bat his eye and send him off. But
oh, me. I tell you, I have gotten myself a lot more comfortable. When we first got him, I was a little nervous because, y'all, I mean, he's a 12, 13, 1,400 pound.
He's a 2,000 pound steer's what he is.
Pure muscle. And
that's what I think.
And so, especially during feeding time, to me that's when we have to be kind of careful is during feeding time. If we go in there and he thinks it's feeding time, he gets so excited.
Right.
I mean, he just doing like this, and his head's going, and if you take 10 steps ahead of him, he's gonna come skipping and all of this, and he's just a big old baby.
Well, this happens every day, but today was a good example. Okay, so we're outside working, and we're putting some headers on the purple pigeon palace, and all of a sudden, and I looked at my watch, and it was about 15 till 3.
He lets you know.
And we usually feed him around 3 o'clock.
Around 3 o'clock.
And it's almost like I remember when we lived in a house in town when I was young, every day at 12 o'clock, there was a lumber company down. It was Miller Lumber.
That's right.
And they would sound the horn for the workers, I guess, because everybody went to lunch at the same time. And they would sound that horn, and we could hear it at my house, even though it was a good ways away. Yeah. That's how loud it was. And that's what Moody makes me think of. That horn's blowing. It's saying it's lunchtime.
It's like the Flintstones when the guy and Fred comes down, the dinosaur.
Right.
That's what the horn at Miller Lumber Company was like. And that's what Moody's like. Well, come 3 o'clock, he going to let you know.
That lumber company has since closed down, and that was a staple of my life. Every day I knew what time it was.
You knew what time it was.
You didn't have to look at your watch. Mm-mm. When that horn went off, you knew it was lunchtime.
They gone to lunch.
Even when I was a little kid, that was 12 o'clock.
That's funny. Yeah, Moody is he's
the horn sounder at Cog Hill. Yeah. He's the loudest horn too.
Once he sounds that horn, it gets everybody else stirred up because that means Joe and Topper is going to get fed. Then Tip knows it because Tip used to stay over there, but he's with a girl. So then Tip starts making his little man.
And when Moody does sound his horn, Mildred has a tendency to sound hers.
She does,
and hers is just a little one. It's just a
like
little mute. But it's almost like they talk back and forth through the fence. Sometimes you can hear them moving back and forth.
You can.
And she looks at him like, you are the most beautiful man on the planet Earth.
Talking about mooing, when we first got Moody, he mooed a lot.
He did. We could hear him at night.
In the middle of the night. And I read about mooing at night. And I read that cows tend to moo at night as a defense mechanism to ward off predators. Mm-hmm. And maybe he's comfortable now. He knows that he got the dogs, and he doesn't feel like there could be a predator issue, or he may just sleep all night. I don't know, but you don't hear. He moves in the morning when he's ready to eat.
Yep.
And then he moves at 3 o'clock.
That's right. And if it's in between, it'll just about make you look because he just doesn't move.
He not like he was. Boy, he was. But I think that's because he was unsettled. Everything was totally new.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. That cow's calm.
He's calm.
He has calmed down. He's just here. I mean, he knows he's in his forever home.
Yes.
And I think he's finally comfortable.
Yeah. He is definitely comfortable.
I mean, if he wanted to tear that fence down, he wouldn't have any problem. He could bust right through it.
Easily.
But we have never seen any kind
Easily.
of even attempt of him to come out. And I don't think
No.
we ever will.
No, he's
And
fine.
As far as that goes, the goat could get out. If
Yeah.
they wanted to.
Yeah.
Joe could
yeah.
get out
Yeah,
at
they
the
could
end.
if they wanted to.
But
they really could.
They know that that's their home and
Yep.
they're fed, they're watered, they're taken care of. Why want to leave?
And loved. So why would I want to leave what I got?
That's right.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. So if I
Me
do want to
too.
leave that camper one day, I do want to leave it one day. Some days more so than others, but I mean, I'm happy to have a roof over my head.
Yeah.
But I'll be glad when we get our house built.
Speaking of our house and camper, we have, and this is big news. Big news. We did order a storm shelter.
We did. We sure did.
Yep.
We went with a company that's out of North Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad we went ahead and did it. They're 12 weeks out,
12 weeks out.
and that is the way you're finding things with any situation.
Yes.
But we have partnered with them, and we will be installing a storm shelter, hopefully, in March or April.
Yep. And that'll be perfect timing, too.
Yeah, that spring weather
Yeah.
storm system.
That'll be perfect timing for the storm shelter. And they have invited us
Mm-hmm.
to come over there to their plant and give a tour. And so I think we're going to do that. We're going to ride over there
Yep.
and show y'all the ins and outs of a storm shelter.
I'm
And then-
excited to see it because this is
Me
the place
too.
where they're manufactured,
That's right.
and it's right here in Alabama.
Right here in Alabama. The one we're getting is all steel.
Mm-hmm.
It's the above ground version because we plan on putting it in the garage.
Right.
And all steel. It meets all of FEMA's recommendations. It's completely safe. Got a bench in it and holds 8 people. Is that correct?
I don't know. I think it's a 4x6, if I'm not mistaken.
think
If you'll
it held
keep
up to 8
talking,
people.
I'll look.
Anyways, and it's got the locks on the outside and inside.
Right.
Which means if you wanted to, you could use it for a safe or something like that. If you wanted to, you could put something in there and nobody could get in it unless they had like a bulldozer.
And this one is painted, whereas they did make a model that was primed. I didn't really care if it was painted or primed, but the difference was the basic model was primed only, and it only opened from the inside. There was no outside lock.
Yeah, had
So
a lock
we're
on the inside.
one step up from that. Let's see. How do I get to the other? There we are.
There they are.
Okay, let's see.
For some reason, I think it holds 8 people.
I'm fixing to tell you.
But we are happy to have our storm shelter ordered and in the process, and they are going to install it. They're going to come down here and
It's a
install
4x6. Standard safe room. It doesn't say how many people it
Okay.
holds.
Okay. I think it's 8. I think it's 8 people. Well, we don't have 8 people. It's just 4 of us. So
Well, it's
We should have
called
plenty of room.
Safety Shelter. Safety Shelter is the name of the company, and they're in Hartselle, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But we've done a lot of research, and we wanted to
Yes.
go with ideally an Alabama-based company.
Sure. It's it's almost as local as you get, unless it was one built right here in our hometown. But there's
Jason
not like
didn't feel comfortable installing it, although it's only
I really didn't. And then you saw these reviews. They're saying easy to install or whatever. But y'all, we're talking about a tornado. And I had told you before, I just feel more comfortable if the professional put this thing, even though they say it's easy to do. You just drill holes in your concrete and put this
lag bolt in.
glue and lag bolt in, and it's easy. And I just felt more comfortable with a professional when it come to my family and bad weather and something, that could be devastating. I'd feel a lot more comfortable knowing that a professional put that thing in than myself. Now, I know there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there that can do it. But this country boy right here, Purple Pigeon Palaces are my...
Forte.
That's it. That's the top of my...
Well, I think that's the benefit of this
Yes.
safety shelter company versus
Because
your
they're in
other
Alabama.
companies. Well, not only that, they will travel up to 4 hours
Yes.
from their location. I don't know how far that is. You just have to call them and see. But
Yeah.
and we'll know more once we
We
visit.
will know more.
But I should say this. That being said, if you ordered a storm shelter from a big box store, which is what we thought we were going to do initially
is.
until I found this company,
Right.
You're responsible for installing it.
For the most part, yeah.
Well, they drop it off,
Yeah.
and you're responsible
You're
for.
responsible.
There is no installation,
Yeah. And in some areas may be different, but our area, there was no installation.
and that was kind of what led us to this company because they do the installation, they do the delivery. It's an all-in-one kind of purchase to where you know when it's coming, you know they're going to take care of it all, and you're not just sitting around wondering what's going to happen and
Yeah.
how you're going to install it. So,
Very happy about this.
and the price was very competitive
Yeah.
with your other ones.
Mhm.
So, I feel good about giving them our business and
Yeah.
dealing with the Alabama-based company.
That's right. Yep, and I'll feel a lot better too because I didn't install this thing, because it's anchored. I don't know how many anchors it's gonna have, but it's anchored in the concrete slab, and it has to be a minimum of 4 inches thick. And I think ours is gonna be thicker than 4 inches. So we're good.
And also, the company said that the slab needs to cure for a couple of weeks. So,
Right.
I'm pretty much expecting our slab to be in and everything cured in 12 weeks.
Yes, I hope so too.
I hope so. But, you never know. Things happen. But that's the plan anyway.
That's
At
the
least
plan.
we have the shelter.
Yes, got
Seems
it
like
ordered.
every time we talk, we have something new
That's
planned
right.
out, bought, or, decided upon.
That made me think of too. The shower. You have stumbled upon a company, and we haven't got anything yet. But they showed you this. They called
It's called
Onyx.
I have on these forums, I guess you would call it. Is that what it would be called?
I guess.
Where people talk about their ideas about barn dominiums and
Well, it's like little groups on Facebook and Instagram that we're in that we read. Primarily Facebook. Instagram's nothing but pictures, but Facebook, we're on several barn dominium groups,
so
and they discuss all
and
kinds of stuff.
when you're in question about something, you can actually go in there and it has a search bar. So, like, I would go in there and type shower because that's been obviously hot on my
Right.
mind here lately, trying to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
So when I typed in, well, you did it first. You typed in shower, obviously.
Yes.
We were awake at 2 different times, and you sent it to me during the night.
Right.
So the next morning, I saw that you had tagged me in a shower, and it said something about some kind of material called Onyx.
Onyx. Is Onyx I think Onyx is the brand. Because isn't it... what is it? What's the material?
Corian, but
Corian.
They don't ever say that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think when you say Onyx, you know what you're talking about.
Okay. I don't know what I'm
I
talking about.
just Googled Onyx to find out that it's very similar
Yeah.
to Corian. It's not the same thing, I don't think.
Okay.
It's just a similar product.
Which is like similar to granite, just say.
Oh, no.
It's,
It's in no way similar to granite. It is a manufactured.
But it can look like granite. I mean, it can look like marble. It can look like granite. I mean, it's the same,
You'll have
but
to see it in
different.
person because it really doesn't.
Oh, okay. Because the pictures I saw, it looked like marble.
Well, I mean, no. You know what the Corian countertops look like?
But it's a solid surface countertop.
But it's more floor mica looking, I guess you would say.
Okay.
But it is solid, and it's non-porous, obviously.
Right.
Because you can put it in the water.
I got you.
It's not as fancy looking as quartz. If you had a quartz shower, then you'd be...
I just thought I saw a picture of one that looked like it had like...
From a distance, it may.
Okay.
When you see the samples...
Okay.
I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed with what I saw, but I also didn't think it compared to granite.
I got you. But it's still a solid surface. That's kind of what I meant. That
Okay.
It's a solid surface. And that
It's a one piece.
It's one giant piece, and it's a slab. Of course, it is manufactured. It's not natural. And it comes in 3 pieces.
Or whatever pieces you need.
Oh, yeah, pieces you need. But our shower will be, sides and the back. And you buy a pan from them, and the pan goes in the floor. And then you put these 3 sides on. solid surface. It's not fiberglass. It's not like in the showers you get at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's a solid. I don't know how thick it is. How thick is it?
What I saw was about an inch thick.
So it's pretty thick. And then you put a backer board on first, and then you glue this with construction adhesive to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you would caulk your joints. And it's completely waterproof. And they look really, really nice.
Yeah,
and they're
I
not,
want you to go look at it because
and they're not that much different than one of these nice white showers that you get in a kit. So we're thinking we may look at these.
I think we will. I think we'll price it. I think we'll try to figure out what the difference is.
Right.
I think that if you ever had a leak, you'd be in a problem.
With one of these.
Yeah, but who anticipates a leak?
The only place I could see this failing would be in the two corners.
Yeah.
Because it's solid.
But I guess that would be like anything.
Oh, all of them that come in pieces. Unless you get one piece shower, and we've learned now that those are really hard to find. They like that style of one solid piece, fiberglass shower kind of don't exist. And I say it don't, they do because they're out there.
Well, they say they're hard to ship without them busting into
hard to ship, and then you have to get that thing in your house before you start framing up because you can't get it in because they're so big. And so I think that's one of the 3-piece things that kind of taken over the market. And they're a lot easier to install because you're working with 3 pieces instead of one giant fiberglass shower. They
say the asset to this Onyx system, I'm going to call it a system because that's what I'm going to call it.
Okay.
But they say the asset is that any homeowner can do it.
Yeah, that's what the guy told you at the showroom, that this was one of the pretty easy to install because it's pretty much just glue it on and put it on the wall. That's from my understanding, that's it.
But when you tagged me in the post, I went to their website and I was just thinking there was like maybe a handful of colors to choose from. Well, they took me over to this area and they had them. You know how you have like Formica, just say Formica samples in a hardware store.
Right.
And they're all on that keychain.
Yeah.
Or paint samples.
Yes, that's what it was like.
It was like that. And my eyes got big and I thought to myself, I will never pick out a color out of this. And then they told me, not only are there all these colors available, it's also available in matte or gloss. And I said, well, what do most people get? And they said, well, it's kind of a mix. That didn't help me.
Didn't help you any.
And then you weren't with me, so I said, we'll have to come back when we can sit down and look together.
Yes.
They also make like sink tops too.
Yeah, that's what you're telling me. They make sink tops and all that kind of stuff. I'm still thinking just a solid white. I like just the solid piece of white. I don't want all these ridges and swoops, and because these showers have these patterns of these.
Oh, I don't like that either.
Swoops and wings and
swirls.
I just want to just plain.
Well, I'm interested to see what we come up with as far as pricing on this.
Yeah.
Because if it works out well, and it's cost effective, then this is our solution.
This is our solution. Just plain, like a plain piece of white bread.
I guess we could. Jeez.
Not that whole wheat with all the grains and
just a white sliced
just
of bread.
Just a white piece. That's what I want. Just plain.
But do you want your onyx to be white?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just plain.
Does it have to be white or can it have a pattern?
Super clean. Well, I guess it can have a pattern. I just want it clean.
There's just so many patterns.
Simple.
So many patterns. Oh my gracious!
I want the door to stand out. That's what I want. I don't want the inside the shower. I want the door to look fancy like Applebee's, and I want the fixtures. I want that to be when you walk in and look at the shower, that's what you see. You don't see all them swoops and swirls. And
I wonder if for Marycarl's bathroom, if we should buy a tub and do the onyx for the surround, if it's cost effective.
Probably so. That
would be very easy.
It would.
And I think that could make that bathroom.
And it kind of looks, even though if it is cost effective, and I think it's going to be, it looks more custom.
It does.
Than that because everyone we looked at looked like a roller coaster.
Even Marycarl said, "Oh, I don't like that
I don't
one."
like that one.
And she pretty much likes everything.
She does, but they look, it just look like a roller coaster.
Why do they need
coming
all?
on.
I mean, wouldn't you think that their mold would have to be more complicated?
I guess they think that's what people want. And,
I don't.
And there's people probably listening to this going, "That's what I wanted." And
that's why they
don't.
make it for you,
That's
but
why
we
they make
don't.
it. We want that plain piece of white bread.
But Marycarl needs her edges cut off of her white bread, so
She does. I will say that I heard her this morning say, "Leave the edges on there, and I'll get them off myself." So
But
I
she
think
said-
she's getting a little bit older.
I took them off
Oh, okay.
anyway. I took them off
Okay.
anyway because she said, "I can get them off, but I lose half the bread when I do." And I said, "I'll get them off
Okay.
for you. I'll get them off for you."
That's funny.
Oh, goodness. There was something else I was fixing to say. Oh,
Showers.
I don't know if we told y'all or not, but when we ordered our cabinets for the kitchen, we told the gentleman, Alan, over at Cabinet Creations,
I think that's right.
we are getting him to build our bathroom vanities as well.
We are. He's doing and the washroom cabinets.
Washroom cabinets.
And once all that's done and the plate and it's framed, we're gonna get to come back and build the pantry inside the pantry.
Not
With
cabinets, just
with
shelves.
shelves, and we may. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of like the ones that have the cabinet at the bottom with a countertop and then the shelves. But we'll see. We'll see what we like. We'll see how big it is.
We'll see what the budget is on
That's
the
true
Onyx.
too. We'll
That
see.
might be the beginning factor.
We'll see what the budget is on the Onyx.
That's right. So if y'all have had experience with the Onyx, please leave us a message and tell us if you love it, hate it, what's the deal, is it cost effective?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not going to be as cheap as sheetrock, but
Yeah.
you can't just put. Well, I guess you could put green sheetrock in.
That used to be the thing. I don't think people do that anymore. But used to be was the green sheetrock that was water resistant and water whatever. And
Well, that's what we had in our old house to
that
begin
was
with.
17 years ago.
But we went back and tiled on top of
We
it
did
upstairs.
come back and tiled on top of it. Sure did. But that was back in the day. The
That
green
was it.
sheetrock.
Green sheetrock.
You put that in the bathroom and you're good to go. But it ain't the case now. I don't even think they even recommend that green sheetrock. They recommend all that orange stuff that seals it in, and just it's crazy now.
I'm behind the times because I don't know what they use now for. But
I
let us
don't
know
know.
if you've had experience with the Onyx. Do you
Yes.
like it? Do you not like it? Do you recommend it? Do you have another suggestion? We're trying to not break the bank here. We just want something that looks nice.
We do want something that looks nice to go with our clawfoot tub.
I'm ready to sit in that tub. I sure am.
You know what we could do? We could take one of them. We'd get a new one, of course. But that trough like Moody's got, I could put it on some blocks, and then we can build a fire under it. And we could have a soaking tub.
Greg's probably going to do that while we're in Tahiti.
He probably will.
You think?
Maybe.
Yep, that's probably what he's going to do.
Oh, my gracious. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Cogcast podcast. We will catch you on, I guess, Tuesday.
That's right.
Y'all be good.
Well, 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 it's another one in the books for the Cog Hill 40. Join us again next week for our next edition of the Cog Hill podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.